This is probably the prettiest use for the plastic that Big Corp keeps throwing at us.
We are bombarded with plastic products. My use of plastic is often grim, but we are also very resourceful and resilient, and we want to actively participate in determining our future.
A quarter of the Philippines' daily trash is plastic, and these are the people who deal with it. It's 4 a.m. Esther Mendoza is hard at work, long before any official waste collection system gets going. No policy, no public pledges, just her and a metal cart out on the streets of Potrero.
Malaking tulong talaga sa akin.
Waste collection is a big help to me because it allows me to pay my water and electric bills and buy food. It's also good exercise. When I began collecting waste, I realized it would involve a lot of pushing. And it really is hard when it's uphill. But I'm fine with it because it's exercise. That's one thing I like about this work.
She and her fellow trash collectors call themselves waste warriors. The neighbourhood door-to-door waste collection system works because it includes people who used to be informal waste workers. But keeping the system running also means getting more than 40,000 residents to change their habits.
It's hard to collect waste if people don't throw out garbage properly. If they do segregate trash properly, then it's easy to collect. But in some areas, I've given up on people.
She earns a bit of extra money for glass bottles, and every peso counts. The remaining waste is taken to a community-run facility. Any food waste that Esther has collected gets turned into compost. The Potrero Waste Programme is run by a team of locals led by Carter Nolasco.
26 minus 2.
The scheme has been running here in Potrero for over 10 years. Anything that rots is composted, anything that can be reused is stored, and the rest is sold on to recyclers. Even the government has recognised this neighbourhood effort. Other barangays are drowning in plastic.
Zero
waste means that nothing is wasted and everything serves a purpose.
In
In our barangay, we aim to turn all biodegradable waste into fertilizer, to reuse all recyclable waste, and to do away with residual waste because it serves no purpose and just pollutes our waterways.
The team does what it can to clean up the streets. But no neighbourhood is a match for the multinationals that flood the country with plastic.
I believe we have to trace where the waste actually comes from. Why aren't we challenging the corporations that mass produce plastics? Why do they still keep doing it when they know the dangers? Not just to animals or the oceans, but to people. There are studies today that show we have microplastics in our bodies, in our heart, in our bloodstream, in our brains.
In fact, the Philippines generates relatively low amounts of plastic waste per person, yet it's among the top global marine plastic polluters. Some of that waste shows up in Leeroy News artwork. Plastic is often framed as a crisis of the modern age. At Berlin's Futurium exhibition centre, Leeroy New places it in a much older context with installations made of bamboo and plastic waste that reference the goddess Mabuyan.
Plastic waste can be seen as something very ancient, fossil fuel these ghostly, these manifestations of creatures from the past that have, taken on the form of plastics.
Back home in the Philippines, Leeroy New has built a series of what he calls Mabuyans colonies with farmers and architects from across the country, using local materials and plastic waste from the surroundings.
My practice in the Philippines led me to addressing the plastic problems. I was looking for alternative ways to make art for creative production and trying to model an example of how I envision it to be, where we can determine our own spaces, our own visual language for a future where it's geared towards a balanced, harmonious relationship with nature.
Activist Shay Levita works on the ground. In this neighbourhood, that means collaborating with the people who once lived on and from Manila's most infamous landfill. This hill used to be Smoky Mountain. For decades, it was a symbol of the country's waste crisis.
This part of Smoky Mountain, as you can see, used to be a pile of trash and garbage.
Piles of trashes and garbage po talaga siya noon, pero dahil nga po sa
But thanks to the efforts and persistence of the people living in Upper Smoky Mountain, most of whom are farmers, it's been transformed.
So dahil po nga po sa pagsisumikap ng mga farmers,
as we can see, they turned what was once a mountain of trash into thriving land.
Yung mga bundok ng basura into something that is edible for them.
Now their livelihoods are under threat again. The site is being cleared for a waste-to-energy incinerator that has the backing of the Philippine government, a Japanese corporation, and the World Bank. Around 23,000 residents are facing eviction.
Yung nangyayari nga po dito sa Smoky Mountain, nakakabit
What's happening
po siya
here in
dun
Smoky
sa
Mountain
mga
is
tinatawag
what
po
we
natin
call a
false
false
solutions,
solution.
o yung mga binabrand
These are
na,
approaches
yun nga po,
branded as
pero hindi
solutions,
naman talaga
but they are
sila
not genuine
na
solutions to
solution para sa
environmental
mga
problems.
problema natin sa kalikasan.
Incinerators don't reduce waste, they feed off it. And they're picky. It has to be dry, plastic-heavy waste to burn efficiently. The kind that Europe and North America generate. To keep this plant running, foreign garbage would have to fill the gap, flooding the country through these ports.
Saan kukuha ng ibang basura? So,
Where
parang
will the additional
nag-o-open tayo ng
waste come
Pandora
from?
box dito sa
We're
situation
opening
na
a Pandora's
naman
box
yung mga
with
basura
waste
na
from
galing sa
other
ibang
countries,
bansa,
once
mapunta
again
sa
ending
atin.
up here.
Yun nga po yung iniiwasan natin, no?
And
Na
that's
yung-
exactly what
na
we're trying to
patuloy tayong
avoid,
maging
that we
tambakan ng
continue to
basura,
be a dumping
hindi
ground
lamang
for
sa
waste, not only
mismong
from
ating
our
bansa,
own
kundi sa
country,
ibang bansa.
but also
Meron
from
po
other
kaming mga
countries.
cases na,
We have
cases
reported
na nangyayari
cases
pa rin
that
po
this
siya,
is still
nakakalisod pa rin po
happening.
siya
Waste is
sa
still
customs
slipping through
po
customs
at
in
saka
our
po sa mga
ports in the
ports po
Philippines.
natin dito sa Philippines.
That's the
Yun
sad
yung
part.
nakakalungkot kasi
Our
parang
country gets
nababrand
branded
nga
as a
po na
dumping
yung bansa
site for
natin ay
waste.
tambakan ng basura.
Food wrappers and plastic bags make up most of the average Filipino household's waste. But before the 1990s, Filipinos actually had a successful low-waste system. This is known as the tingi practice, buying in small portions and refilling glass bottles with essentials such as vinegar, fish sauce, and oil. But then multinationals came along and undermined the system, offering the same small portions but sealed in single-use plastic, marketed to people who couldn't afford to buy in bulk. Sachets replaced what was a sustainable system.
Yung konsepto po ng tingi
The idea behind Tinggi Tindahan is rooted in Filipinos' preference for buying in small quantities. Convenience is deeply ingrained in Filipino culture. Wherever you go, there are convenience stores where people can buy items for as little as 5 or 10 pesos.
The Tinggo Tandahan project in Potrero gets people to bring their own containers and buy what they need, skipping the plastic and avoiding all those billions of sachets that get thrown out every year.
We
encourage people to bring their own containers. We decided to set up this kind of store because even though we already practice waste segregation, we still generate a lot of residual waste, especially single-use plastics. This is one way for us to encourage residents to reduce their waste by bringing eco bags or bottles to buy different products.
The people in this story aren't waiting to be rescued. They're already doing the work, sorting, refilling, sculpting, organising. But here's the thing. Even if their model proves to be scalable, it still depends on the plastic-producing companies being willing to change systems they've profited from for decades.